The Federal Reserve is in focus. Federal Reserve officials deciding not to raise interest rates, adding that they are not likely to increase rates at all this year. The Fed started a series of increases in rates more than 3 years ago, but now U.S. economic growth is slowing across the world. Here's what Fed Chairman Jay Powell said yesterday.
So, and in terms of what it would take, I'd say again today we don't see data coming in that suggests that we should move in either direction. They suggest that we should remain patient and let the situation clarify itself over time. When the time comes, we'll act appropriately.
And joining me right now is the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation Chairman, Jelena McWilliams, FDIC Chair. Jelena, it's great to have you on the program.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Ms. Chairman, I should say, really. I'm really happy to have you because I saw the Wall Street Journal, James Freeman's op-ed about your background about a week ago, and it was so stunning and fantastic. So I'm going to get to that in a minute. You heard Jay Powell. Tell us about your priorities, because that's exactly what you're trying to do, avoid this economy worsening and spiraling out.
Correct.
With this slowdown.
Correct.
What are you doing in that regard?
We are monitoring conditions at banks, and we make sure that they're well capitalized, that have high levels of liquidity, and they're able to sustain economic downturns as they come and go. So right now, banks are doing very well. We don't have immediate concerns about any of the past crises, shortfalls and downsides. So we're just monitoring, making sure that the banks are resilient.
And you have a balance to walk, because on the one hand, you've got to make sure that the banks are resilient, but on the other hand, you can't, squeeze them so much that they're holding on to too much capital, that they're not doing the lending that they need to do.
Absolutely.
How do you do that?
We need to find that fine balance, and I believe that our regulatory framework in the past decade has gone too far into playing it so safe that the banks have been sitting on a lot of capital that they have not released into the economy. So our goal is to find that fine balance between making sure that banks are safe and sound while enabling growth and the funding of the business cycle.
What are the most important metrics that you look at, Jelena, in terms of deciding whether or not the bank is safe? Is it just capital? Is it something else? Give us your blueprint in terms of monitoring this stuff.
Absolutely. So we look at the concentrations and the risk profile of the bank, and how is the bank measuring risk. The FDIC regulates a lot of the smaller banks in the United States, and we have backup examination authority for the larger banks. And so we look at how are banks doing the business of banking, right? Are they taking on too much risks? And then how much compliance and how much of risk management do they have? And do we trust how they manage risk? Yeah. So that's something that we focus on in our examinations. And we have a very strong relationship with our banks in terms of our examiners are on the ground. They go, they visit these banks. Our examiners actually spend 90 days, close to 90 days a year inside banks. So we do have a pretty good sense of what's going on the ground.
Yeah, it's funny because after the 2008 crisis, banks started, the regulators have offices in banks, right? They're spending time, they're watching all the operations. Look, I want to go back to your background and this op-ed that James Freeman wrote so eloquently, America's Most Inspiring Bureaucrats. Believe it or not, encouraging words from federal regulators. That was the title of the Wall Street op-ed by Freeman, and you were the focus of that. The article covered a recent speech that you gave, which you wrote, and you talked about making it from the former Yugoslavia to where you are today. You came to this country with $500 in your pocket. Your parents didn't necessarily want you to leave. They didn't want you to leave, but you did. And it's important to talk about this with you because now we are looking at this debate, capitalism versus socialism. Talk to us about that. What was so inspiring about America to you?
Absolutely. It seemed to me when I was growing up back in Belgrade, former Yugoslavia, now Serbia, that this was the land of opportunity. And I thought that if I could just make it here, that I would make sure that I make the most out of that opportunity. So I begged my parents to let me go, and they borrowed money from a family friend. They paid for my airplane ticket, and with $500 in my pocket, tucked into jeans pocket, I basically boarded the flight to the United States, and I was an exchange student for 1 year. And I just said, I just need this opportunity, and I will make the most out of it. I got educated in the United States, worked very hard, worked several jobs at a time, worked minimum wage jobs, sold knives door to door, sold vehicles, not a fun job, let me tell you. And somehow here I am, 27, 28 years later, I'm the chairman of the FDIC. And that truly is the promise of America.
Unbelievable. You are living the American dream.
I am the American dream.
You are the American dream.
I'm very proud of that.
So talk to us about what you're hearing now with some of these socialist programs you probably grew up with.
Yes.
In the former Yugoslavia. And are there warnings that you want to give to people, you know, about, look, thinking that everything's free? At the end of the day, there isn't any free lunch. I mean, talk to us about this, given that socialism is sort of, you know, something we're actually debating.
Absolutely. And so I had, my story is my personal story, right? So the view of socialism is the system that I grew up in. And what I appreciated about the United States was the fact that you could work hard and the system would help you to succeed. And that's something that doesn't happen in all of the systems in the United States. And frankly, nothing is free. And that's something that we need to be cognizant of. And our regulatory framework needs to support our legislative framework as well, but our regulatory framework in particular needs to support economic growth, needs to support opportunities, needs to support an ability for some other people to come in and achieve the American dream. And I think that happens best in the system of government that we have currently.
And look at all of the positions that you've had before becoming chairman to actually give you such an education about how this economy works. You worked at the Fed during the financial crisis.
Yes, I had baptism by fire.
Yeah, exactly.
Joined the Fed in early 2007. I was a lawyer at a private law firm before that, and I was working on securities and M&A activity, and then came to the Fed and did not expect the financial crisis. It came upon us, and it was a very hard time handling consumer calls and a lot of foreclosures and loan modification programs. And from there, I went on to the Senate, first on the Senate Small Business Committee, and then the Senate Banking Committee. From there, I had an opportunity to work at a large bank, which again gave me an opportunity to see how banks look at a regulatory framework from within. And from there, I got the appointment to the FDIC chairmanship.
Wow, congratulations. I know that when you go back to Europe, you look at Europe fondly. Well, you mentioned for the coffee.
Yes, coffee, superb European bread, and Nutella.
But for economic policies, you're going to stick with America.
This is my land. This is my homeland. This is my land of choice, and there's no other place I would rather be. And I don't think that I would have been able to succeed the way I have anywhere else in the world.
Let me end on business. How would you characterize the economy right now? Should we be worried? What do you think are the telltale signs we need to focus on, given that Europe is slowing, China has slowed?
I think we always need to be cautious, and with my regulatory head on, I believe that we need to be cognizant of the market trends. But right now we're doing fine, and I believe we'll be able to weather whatever downturns there are outside.
Chairman Jelena McWilliams, good to see you.
Thank you, Maria.
Thank you so much for joining us.